Welcome to The Secrets of Success. By following the proven techniques of the guests who appear on this series, you'll learn that even successful people run into detours and failures, and how you can apply their success techniques to change your life.
You're now listening to the most unique show on radio, the show dedicated to making you a success. Greg Thompson says the best leaders are coaches. Let's hear more from Greg. Greg, thanks for being with us today.
Thanks for having me, Bill.
Greg, you've written a book called The Master Coach, and you start off by saying becoming a master coach is an internal affair. What does that mean?
Well, it really means that becoming a great coach is much more about who we are as opposed to what we do. Interpersonal skills of listening and action planning and, really interacting well with other people and your good communication skills, those are all important. But what it really means is unless people really welcome us as people into a coaching relationship, we can't coach anyway.
Now, let's define, when you say a master coach, is this a coach, because often I'll hear from someone, I do business coaching, etc. So they're going to call me once a week and talk to me. Is this someone who might give me advice during the day, like the third base coach in a baseball game? Hurry up and run home, get to the plate, score the run? Or is this the manager or the boss of the company?
No, not at all. This is really, the idea is really the antithesis of that, is that it's not about giving advice. It's really about challenging, encouraging, helping people gain new perspectives. And the idea of the master coach is not that this is a particular position or a level to aspire to. It really is that becoming a great coach is within the reach of all of us. And especially if you're in an organization, really, at any level of leadership, you can master the art of coaching.
But when we say we're a leader, don't we like to, I guess it's just that nature to be the boss, like move those chairs, get those reports out. I want everything by Thursday morning. Isn't there something about that gives us power?
It does, and it feeds into our egos, and we often do it with the best of intentions. We think we know what the right answer is, and we're going to share that right answer with other people. It's just that all of our research tells us that people who do that and do that consistently really don't have a big impact on the people around them. And the people that have other people make the decisions, have other people solve the problems, seize the opportunities. Now, these are the great leaders. And, quite frankly, that is increasingly the leader of the future.
And in fact, you say that positional power is actually waning in organizations now. Is that correct?
Well, it is. I mean, we're becoming smarter about what it takes to manage and lead people. And the demographics are changing. Millennials simply won't have any of that. They really want to be part of a purpose-driven community, and they respond much better to strong, sincere coaching than they do directing or even advising. They want to be part of something, and that's really the essence of coaching. Is that it's this idea of a one-on-one partnership.
And I guess if I'm the manager, and I'll put myself in that spot for right now, or kind of high up on the pecking order, I want to get the most out of people, because the better they do, the better the company does. Probably my bonus is going to be bigger.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, it doesn't come without some risk and sacrifice. It is. You often have to give up the early performance because you're taking a risk on other people. I mean, at its very core, coaching is an act of faith in other people, and you might be able to do it better yourself. But you've taken the risk of having somebody else do it, make the decision, solve the problem, meet with that important customer, whatever it might be. And there can be a short-term price you pay for that.
Well, I guess, again, to use the baseball analogy or the football, it's like replacing the veteran with the rookie. They're going to make a mistake, but we're going to have them around for 10 years. And the sooner they learn and get over that mistake, the more valuable they're going to be. Is that kind of the idea?
Yeah, absolutely. And, most of us, when we look back on our own lives and our careers, the people that were at the crossroads for us, the people that really helped us make a shift in our career, our performance, our attitude, whatever it might be, they weren't somebody who told us what to do. I mean, they were somebody who encouraged us, somebody who challenged us, somebody who cared enough to tell us the stuff that other people would not. These are really people who have been coached-like in our backgrounds.
And I think you said in your book, and I thought this was very insightful, initiative imagination and passion can't be commanded.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it is at Blue Point, and we're honored to work for some very, very creative, innovative organizations. And one of the hallmarks of their teams are that people get really, really excited about their work, and they bring their best creative spirits to work every day. And they all have coach-like leaders. I mean, it's just the nature of it. It is very, very difficult, if not impossible, to order somebody to be creative.
And sadly, and I see it in your book, but I'm hearing it from a lot of our guests. I'd say probably once every 3 or 4 weeks, the guest will bring this up. Today, something like only 13% of employees say they're really engaged in what they do.
That is true. But there's also another side that most of us don't look at. And that's the people that they look pretty engaged. And we even look out at them and say, man, those are really good performers. I have the honor of coaching a number of those people that we see as really strong performers. And what's really interesting is they all have another gear as well. They've got a bigger game inside them. And so it's this idea that we all can make a shift in our performance, in our impact, in our creativity, our innovation, whatever that might be. And the only thing that has been really timeless is this idea of coaching.
Now, I think you said in the book someplace that there's certain key words to measure success in coaching, and 2 of them would be performance and development. Did I get that right?
Yes, you did. If you look if you're looking for a definition of coaching, and this does sound a little bit academic, but it's the only one that I really could come up with. It would be that would approach it kind of defining it in one sentence. It's that true coaching is an intense conversation that focuses on and increases performance, learning, and development. So, and that does sound very academic, but it might be a 30-second conversation in a hallway as well. The hallmark is really, does the other person leave the conversation better in some way? Do they leave inspired? Do they leave with an idea? Do they leave with a question? And it's this idea that coaching doesn't have to be this formal thing. It really is a conversation that is a catalyst for people to learn, to perform differently better in some way.
Now, Greg, I'd like our audience to know that, in case they did not hear it at the beginning of the book, beginning of the show, our guest today is Greg, Gregg Thompson, Thompson. His book is The Master Coach. And Greg, would you tell us where the book is available, and is there a website where our audience can learn more about it?
Certainly. The book is available through a number of bookstores, the large popular bookstores, but it's also available on Amazon, and it's available on our website at bluepointleadership.com.
And, of course, we'll give that, as we always do, later on in the show. If you didn't get it down, you'll have a little more time to get it. But I was just thinking, as you were saying that, this kind of makes, when I say our job, if we're the administrator or the boss or the manager, easier, because instead of having to give orders and kind of getting that grumpy look and the people who kind of feel that we're lording it over them, it really is a teamwork project. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, absolutely. It's about the idea that the leader, the manager, the supervisor, doesn't have to be the smartest man or woman in the room, doesn't have to be the hardest working, doesn't have to be the most loyal, doesn't have all the great ideas. It's the idea that they see their role as bringing that out in other people. Now,
I guess the good news is that what I read in your book, that is even mediocre coaching, so someone who's really not good at it, can provide remarkable results. Is that what you found?
Well, yeah, you can, and it that does sound a bit odd, but the reason being is because it's all about the intention. So if you think about it this way, if you're having a conversation with somebody, and maybe they don't have all the nifty, newest interpersonal coaching skills, but they're trying to have a conversation with you that is going to be helpful to you. They're not trying to fix you. They're not trying to show you how wrong they are, how wrong you are, and how right they are, but they're really trying to be helpful in some way. Man, we give them a lot of latitude, and we'll engage in that conversation, even if on a coaching scale it was rather mediocre. The however is this: you get somebody who's taken the latest coaching program and they know all the 5 steps and the 7 interpersonal skills, but you just don't trust them. and you just don't. They haven't earned that right really to have that conversation, and it on the surface may look like really first-class coaching. It has zero effect, or as a matter of fact, it might have a negative effect.
Greg, if you and I walked in a room and let's say we have 5 candidates, and I'm watching you, and you're obviously the expert, could you interview or talk to those 5 candidates, and with a high degree, 80% or better of certainty, say 1, 2, and 3 are going to be really good coaches, 4 and 5 maybe they should go look for a job at the rodeo or the circus or something? Well,
I think. Coaching really is, again, it's within the grasp of all of us. However, is if I was going to do that with you, is that the thing that would really, separate those that I think had immediate potential from those that would really struggle with it. It's really about character. It's really about people who see their role as leaders as being really of service to other people, and not the other way around. Men and women of high integrity. The thing that most coaching programs neglect or really don't give much credence to is this idea that we need to earn the right to coach. We can be fired as a coach mid-sentence if we lose the right to coach. And so what I would look for men and women who had distinctively noble character. There was something about them that you could just tell that they had high integrity, they were just who they were, and they were deeply committed to serving other people in some way.
Now, you mentioned millennials before, and I started thinking, do you find certain groups, and millennials may be one of them, right-handed people, women, older managers, are there certain groups that gravitate to this better or do a better job, or is it kind of equal across the board?
Well, it really is across the board. I see great coaches and great coaches emerging. I do think, though, that it's easier for younger leaders in organizations to recognize the core principles and concepts of coaching. If a leader has, for 25, 30 years been rewarded for telling people what to do, asking him or her to make a shift in their leadership, in their approach to work, in their approach to people, it can be very difficult. It can be done. It's just it can be more challenging at that level.
I guess, again, we go back to that. We worked our way up for years. Someone bossed us around and said, do this, get that report in. And now when we get there and finally we've reached that certain plateau in the company, we're told, coach them, be nice, work with them. And we kind of say to ourselves, where was that attitude 20 years ago when I started? And, they said just work late and figure it out type of deal.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's even the change in some of the performance systems is compounding that, because many organizations are seeing the futility in their performance management programs and are punting them, or just are throwing them out. They're telling leaders to go out there and be more coach-like now instead of doing performance appraisals. And yeah, you take a 25, 30-year manager who has always managed from a more autocratic, directive approach. That's a real challenge. But the beauty is, it is a learnable, observable set of behaviors and attitudes. And I see, we have the honor of training thousands and thousands of leaders for some of the finest organizations in the world every year. And so I have the great privilege of seeing men and women get it, even if they've been leading a different way for 30 years. Quite frankly, it's a wonderful experience to see somebody get it, to see their role shifting to that as the coach.
Greg, we want to find out some of your training secrets in a few seconds, but at this point in the show, we like to remind our listeners that you're listening to The Secrets of Success. My name is Bill Horan. The show is produced at 90.3 WHPC at Nassau Community College. We'll be right back after this brief intermission.
This portion of programming on WHPC is brought to you on behalf of the Nassau County Bar Association, who wants you to know about ADR, Alternate Dispute Resolution, which can help you avoid costly, lengthy, and uncertain litigation in court. By resolving disputes through mediation or arbitration, it gives you control over who decides your case. A mediator helps all parties to reach an agreement they can live with, or an arbitrator selected by the parties hears and decides the case. Your attorney can still represent you, but you control who decides your case. ADR is faster and less stressful than fighting in court, and it is a great way to resolve divorce,